June 12th, 2025. It's good to see everybody in the house tonight. Want to thank everybody that's tuning in online as well. And Madam Superintendent, with that, we'll call this meeting to order, and you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is invocation, and I want to invite Reverend Scott Mathis forward for the invocation, and then if everyone would stand and remain standing through the Pledge of Allegiance, that will be led by Deputy Sirianni.
Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you here. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Dear Lord, we just thank you so much for this beautiful day that you've given us, God. Thank you for all your many blessings that you give us each and every day. You are so good to us, God, and we're thankful to be a part of this school system, the best school system in the state of Georgia, God. And thank you for all of our students that are here this evening, God, as we recognize and honor them, God. Pray for our teachers and all of our other students as they're on summer break, that they would just get a good time of rest, God, and relaxation, and come back recharged and ready for the new year, Lord. I pray for each of our board members. I pray that the Bible says if we ask for wisdom, you will give it to us, God, and I just pray that you will give them wisdom and discernment in all the decisions that they make. Pray for our superintendent as well, God. And we just pray for this meeting, that we'll just have a great night, Lord. And again, we just thank you so much for all your blessings, God. And we thank you most of all for our Savior, Jesus Christ. In his name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Officer Sirianni.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda, and with that is two sets of minutes from May 8th regular meeting and May 21st called meeting. Ms. Collis, if you will share those, please. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Thank you, Madam Board. We have a recommendation to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is special recognitions, and I'd like to invite Dr. April Hodges forward, the principal of the Fannin County Middle School, so she can brag just a little bit. She's going to brag on the boys and girls track team for winning the Mountain League Championship.
That's right.
Dr. Hodges?
I'm going to let Dr. Roof speak first.
Going rogue on you. No, this was I just wanted to say something with on behalf of my wife, who I know is going to say something next board meeting too. But with middle school track, part of what we wanted to do with Miranda and I is help leave it better than we found it when it comes to a track program, and part of that is just being able to get to have this middle school track program get started. Was absolutely amazing. And Coach Thigpen, Coach Saxon don't know this, but after what they did and after what they accomplished at the Mountain League Championships, we had coaches from other teams and parents from other teams reach out to us and tell us just how amazed they were by our athletes and what they saw out there, not with what they accomplished, but with how they conducted themselves. And that only happens through leadership. And that only happens by what the coaches do and what the coaches pour into. And so I just wanted to take a second just to brag on Coach Thigpen and Coach Saxon and what they do. We could not have asked for this track program to get started by two better people, and they're just absolutely amazing. And I just felt compelled to grab the mic for a second and say that. So, yeah. So, Madam Superintendent, I'm sorry for going rogue. I just had to do it. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Hodges now.
Yeah. Dr. Ruth, I'm used to you going rogue, sir.
Well, good evening, board, Ms. Dillard. I'm going to invite our middle school track team and Coach Thigpen up right now. So guys and girls, if y'all will come on up. Miss Saxon, Coach Saxon couldn't be with us tonight, but we'll brag on her team. So it's not very often that, well, here it's often that we get to brag on our students, but I get to brag on a unique group of students because this is our very first track team that we've had at the middle school. And not only is it our very first track team, but it's also our very first championship for track at our school, which is pretty unique, I feel. Most programs, it takes a while to get going and to build up the success, but we've had it all season. And so I'm super proud of them. We're excited to see what they're going to go on and do in the future. And we're super thankful for our coaches and all that they have done. And I'm going to let Coach Thigpen speak for a second.
I do want to say real quick, Dr. Roof and Coach Miranda Roof, just thank you for feeling that way about us, that you trust us enough to get this thing off the ground and start doing it. There would be about 60 more kids here if they were all here. So for a single A high school, middle school to have 80 some odd kids involved in the track program the first year is pretty incredible. I do want to thank Dr. Hodges, Coach Patterson, Miss York, and also Coach Saxon, and also Maddie Mitchum. Maddie Mitchum coached all season free of charge. Dr. Ramsey, get her a teaching job when she graduates, please, because she's earned it. But oh, that's okay. Well, you were there, and I was going to say, but it really was incredible. I do want to introduce these kids, and then also say the cool thing about middle school and the fact that they did this, and the fact that we had the numbers that we had. We don't get to compete against 1A middle schools. It's just whoever's kind of close by, and a lot of those schools are a lot bigger than us, and they have more athletes to choose from and more athletes that come out. These kids came every day. Our volunteer coaches that Coach Roof and Dr. Roof have recruited did a phenomenal job. Our high school kids, some of those guys are here right now. I know this is a soccer team, but they also ran track as well. They were very good to our kids. And so that, again, speaks to the community we're in that Mr. Mathis prayed about just a few minutes ago. We're in a good place, y'all. But I want to introduce these kids real quick. This is Braylon Postel, Addison Bradburn, Maddie Parton, Danica Nicholson, Nat Sowers, Elizabeth Evans, Lennox Patterson. I think you might know her. Lola Temples, Ella Barfield, Janelle Patel, Jamari Dunn, Gabe Perkle, Clay Maddox, Reed Summers, and Jackson Thigpen. Again, none of these kids had ever done any of this stuff, but maybe run around a little bit. And they jumped right in. Ella learned how to pole vault the week before the region championship and was willing to just go out there and do it, and it got us points. And so that's sometimes track is how much you're willing to do and how much you're willing to suffer. And they did it very, very well. So super proud of these kids. Thank y'all for the opportunity to coach them. Thank y'all very much.
They're going to do a picture.
Mr. Mathis is going to.
Yeah, maybe can the ladies come across the front and meet anybody?
So I was going to say, hang on, just think it back. All right, get up on that.
Go for it, Chris. Thank you all so much. And students, thank you all for working so hard. I see you out there sweating and freezing to death all the time, so thank you. Mr. Chair, next I want to invite Dr. Scott Ramsey forward, principal of Fannin County High School, and he's going to brag a little bit. Tell us what the soccer team did there, Dr. Ramsey.
Good evening, Madam Superintendent and Board. It is certainly an honor to be here and get to brag a little bit about our kids. I'm not going to go rogue, but I do want to congratulate our middle school track team as well. It's always impressive when you start off as champions. So to have something that's in its first year and be able to start off and win a championship, we're very proud of that at the high school, and that just kind of speaks to how we are a school system and not a system of schools, because we all work together and all pull for each other. So I'm very proud of them and excited for them coming up. And then we'll talk a little bit about our soccer team. So if I could go ahead and have our soccer team and coaches and Mr. King, if y'all all come up. First, I want to say how proud I am of the attendance. I mean, this is June, and these guys came out. So that's it's exciting to get them all here. And I know they didn't have a lot of notice because their principal somehow thought next week was the board meeting. So he didn't give them a lot of notice, so that is my bad. But I appreciate y'all being here. And I'm very proud of this group of young men and their accomplishments. They're an outstanding group of young men, and you know, they went on a run. And they got hot at the right time, and they went on a run. And that's incorrect. We did not make the Elite Eight. I mean, we did, but then we went on to the Final Four. So just very proud of their accomplishments. I mean, they were so, I don't know if everybody got to watch them play. They're so fast. They play so hard. And they represent us so well. And I'm just, you know, we say it time and time again when we're talking about kids from Fannin County. We say it time and time again. Yeah, they're great soccer players, but they're better young men. And that's what makes you proud. And I have never been to one of our games or matches or contests of any kind where I wasn't proud of our athletes and how they were representing Fannin County. And that's certainly true with this group. So very proud of your accomplishments and very proud of the young men you are. And like, you know, like Coach Thigpen said, these guys run track, and they play basketball, and they play football, and they do all kind of different things and do such a great job at it. So just very proud of them. Now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. King, and he'll talk about it, and then let Coach Johnson speak.
Obviously, you can see how much of a team they are because they all went blonde. And at one point, they were trying to get everybody else to do it as well. Yes. They tried to have me do the beard blonde. But it just speaks volumes of the type of people they are, because not only are they great athletes, but great people that can cut up and have fun. But when it's game time, it's game time. And we saw that when we went and took down the number 2 team with Ace, and then had the chance to host and then make it all the way down, and we're right there at a chance to go to a state championship. It speaks volumes to how hard and what they put into it to be successful. And it is, just like Dr. Ramsey said, many of these young men are doing multiple things in addition to what they're doing in the classroom, because they're all great students as well. And the amount of time and effort that it takes is, as an athlete, if you've ever been an athlete, you know it takes a lot of time and effort. And these young men have done that, and they've done a great job at it. So a round of applause. We're proud of them.
Every time I get handed a microphone, it's after Chris Thigpen, and he's a lot more well-spoken than I am, so I always feel bad. But to introduce these guys to you, this is Kean Halpin on the end, Conrad Head, Matthew the Iceman Ponton, Revan Hennessy, Miller Denton, Connor Kyle. Sorry. I almost called him by his brother's name, I'm sorry. Avery Angel and Gage Bryan. to put in perspective the accomplishment that these guys went through this year, the amount of adversity at the beginning, towards the middle of the season, was at one point it felt almost insurmountable. And when they turned it on and we started winning, there was really no holding us back. And in perspective, we were 86 minutes away from winning a state title. We have 12 seniors returning to us next year. We are extremely excited about what's going to happen in the year to come. Thank you.
Y'all got it.
Thank you all very much.
And then there were 10. I'm afraid to move too quick. I'm afraid to move too fast.
Yes, I can. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is public comment. Mr. Danner, was there any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is a construction and facilities update. Mr. Danner?
Ms. Collis, as normal, if you'll just scroll, and as she's scrolling, maintenance department, as of yesterday, 2,184 work orders completed, documented completed. High school Salto upgrades have been completed. The new gym HVAC is underway. RTUs are set. Power is being hooked up. So hopefully a couple weeks, high school new gym will be completed. West Fannin barred units are complete. The rooftop units will be installed on June the 18th. East Fannin HVAC is underway. There are 7 bards that's not been completed. RTUs will be January the 1st. And then the middle school bleachers, the footers have been poured, waiting on the slab, and then we will actually get the bleachers ordered there. The MSC walls on the construction site, from the softball to the athletic performance center is complete. The baseball MSC wall is complete. MSC wall from the athletic performance center going out to the driveway has begun. Masonry walls have started at the APC. Footers are poured at the press box. Masonry walls have begun. Footers poured on the first and third base dugouts, which will be our home dugouts. Masonry walls have begun. Footers have been poured on the third and first base dugouts, which will be our visitor dugouts. Underground detention pond, which actually is on the screen now, is complete. That's 210 feet of underground detention pond. That is the pond number 2. There'll be a one that same size going, actually be starting hopefully within 2 weeks behind the softball parking lot. The hidden facility slab is complete, which is what you see there. And so again, that will be starting erected very soon.
Thank you, Mr. Danner.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So did we get like any, idea about the baseball field completion? Like, are they gonna try to finish that up first, or are we just gonna try to?
When the third detention pond gets completed, which is behind the softball parking lot, when that gets completed, they will actually turn field turf loose. So they'll come in and start leveling and all that type of thing. But again, I think Ashley asked about the progression. It will be from industrial going towards the tennis courts. So that'll be the completion side. So the parking lot won't be completed behind the old, the visitor side parking lot. We're hoping it will be a minimum of a base coat of gravel come football season. But yes, baseball, softball, press box, hit facility should be completed. Well, it'll definitely be completed before the Athletic Performance Center. I don't know the time, but things are moving very well. Tanner, the superintendent, I know y'all have met him. He won't. You know, I said, man, you got to tell me. He said, well, we're ahead of schedule. We're ahead of schedule. That's all he'll tell me. So again, but again, I know they have to be very careful. The completion date on paper is July of '26. So again, but we are ahead of schedule. How'd you like me how to dodge that question there, Robert? That's about all I know. That's about all I know.
Basically, starting from the state patrol's office and heading that direction.
Correct.
Well, you brought that up about that parking lot. I had somebody ask me either today or yesterday about parking for football games, whether that was available.
I don't know if it's going to be asphalt just yet, but definitely the upper side, pretty much all of it's going to have at least a base coat, good packed down gravel. Probably the upper side will have at least a small coat of asphalt because that's all going to be ADA parking there.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's going to be ample parking.
But that may be available to use during the upcoming football season?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, he has promised me that we will have parking on the visitor side. It'll still be a construction site.
Sure.
There'll have to be, there'll be ropes and chains and all that type of stuff too. So,
Well, they're moving along pretty good. Progress looks good.
they really are.
Okay, anything else? All right, Mr. Chair, next item on the agenda is to approve the notice of assessment, better known as NOA, and this is out of House Bill 92 as a result of House Bill 581. So House Bill 581, of course, we had the meetings in January, and the school board, along with the county and other city governments, we all stayed consistent and chose to opt out of House Bill 581. Well, from House Bill 581 now came new legislations in the form of House Bill 92 that impacts, one of the things it impacts is the notice of assessments, and our notice of assessments from the county and for the school's part. The county has already held a meeting and voted which option they want to go with. There's two options for notice of assessments, or if your tax assessments. Option one would require for the school board to go ahead and make an estimate of what the millage rate would be, really in a timeline that would be before we would have the digest like Ms. Wynn was talking about at the 5 o'clock meeting. Option two is actually what is the current practice in the county and has been from the school board, of where their notice of meeting will stay consistently like it has been historically before House Bill 581 or House Bill 92 came out. And Ms. Collis, if you'll scroll down to the next page, and that's an example of what the notice of assessment would look like going with option two, which is currently what the county does, and what and that would be my recommendation as well, is for the school board on their part of the notice of assessment to go with option two as outlined in House Bill 92 as a result of House Bill 581. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So, board, we have a recommendation to approve the notice of assessment for House Bill 92. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to approve to postpone the July 2025 board meeting. And my recommendation and request is to postpone the regularly scheduled monthly July 2025 Fannin County Board of Education meeting by 1 week, so that the meeting would be postponed and held from Thursday, July the 10th to Thursday, July the 17th at 5:30, and the meeting location would be here at the Fannin County Staff Development Center. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve and to postpone the July 2025 board meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. I'll second that. Is there any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to approve purchase of safety equipment, and I would like to invite Mr. Danner forward to review the equipment and the invoice and all the things, Mr. Danner.
Board, we had a called meeting on, I can't remember when it was. But anyway, so I would like to make a recommendation to approve $861,324.02 from Alliance Technology Group through a TIPS purchasing program, which follows our policy. And if it'll be approved, it's for SPLOST, paid for with SPLOST and general funds. Ms. Collis, if you'll pull up the other attachment. That is for 11 units and some installation and some other tools in there. This is a
Go ahead, Mr. Danner.
4-year total price. That's the $861,324.02. So the first year's price that will come out of SPLOST, go back up, Ms. Collis. The first year would be that $698,902.13. That's what we would pay with this year's SPLOST funds. If this is approved, the second, third, and fourth year is just for software only, and that will come out of general funds. So the grand year again, the 4-year total will be $861,324.02. Again, that's for 11 total units.
And the operation purpose of this safety equipment with 11 units, it is actually
It's a weapons detection system. It's not a metal detector, it's a weapons detection system. And again, that is putting units at all schools, all 5 schools. Of course, the high school will be getting 4 units. The elementaries will be getting 2 units apiece. The middle school will be getting 1 unit. We talked had some questions about the longevity of it and the software support. Right now, these are Generation 2 devices. And even though this is a 4-year cycle, of course, the salespeople is not the actual manufacturer of it, but the Generation 2 is being supported by the same software that Gen 1 was. And as good as the technology has becoming, he does not foresee, even after the 4-year total, after this purchase, that they would not support this. So he does expect them to continue to supporting it as long as the equipment will last.
so Gen 2, he is saying that software, the physical equipment would be able to be upgraded and utilized after the 4-year
Correct,
term.
yeah.
Okay.
If they're in Generation 2, and if a Generation 3 comes out within these 4 years, at the end of that 4-year, we can either purchase again, or we could use our Generation 2 equipment, and then of course, the new software is going to be updated every year or as it comes out, whether we purchase it or lease it or anything to that nature.
And we've talked with the company and we've had demonstrations, and it's a very non-invasive approach for weapons detection system. It was my perception, and Mr. Danner.
That is correct. That is correct. And again, we will roll this out if approved by the board to the community very quickly, very soon, and just let them know what's going to what it will entail. The speed of it is very quick. The lead time on it's 3 to 4 weeks. Of course, that's just for the hardware, but then they have to set up training. So we should be able to have this before school begins for next school year.
Or in the beginning, once we get everyone trained.
That
So
is
that
correct.
there could be some
That is correct.
So, all right.
I want to say that this is a good thing. It's another big layer for us to protect our kids and our staff, and I'm well pleased that we're moving forward on something like this. Some say we don't want our schools looking like prisons and stuff, but you know the day and age that we live in, we need this. And so I can't say, enough about how, I guess, pleased I am that everybody come together on this and wanted to put it together. So thank you to everybody.
Yeah, thank you for the support of the school. Darren, thank you, and our SROs for their input and the resources that they put into this. I think that's a great team effort. I think it's worthy cause.
Yes, sir. And talking with other districts before, just to let everyone know, it is a 2 to 3 week out time. Most people's gone for the summer. Most places that rolled it out has been most successful training faculty and staff first and then rolling it out. So it won't just be a boom in everybody's face, but we'll do our best to roll it out so that we can make sure that we operate it to integrity to ensure the greatest safety that the equipment could afford us. So I asked Ms. Collis to pull the memo back up real quick so I could make sure that I'm making an appropriate recommendation and getting you all the details. So it is safety equipment. The physical equipment can be paid for with SPLOS. It is for a weapons detection system. It is enough units to cover the major entrances to all of our schools, pre-K through 12. It will have to be funded in part by SPLOS, which can do the physical equipment, and then part by local, which would do the software subscription. It would be for physical equipment for a one-time buy. That would be ours, and then we would be committed to a 4-year term with the company once we purchase that for an annual renewal agreement. So with that mouthful, Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve safety equipment as presented. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. We've had mostly discussion, but is there anybody else?
Let me put in one thing I think we should say too, is we didn't just throw out that number 11, as far as how many purchasing units. All those campuses were thoroughly looked at to see how many units would safely cover each school each day. So I think that's an important point to make real quick.
One more I want to add in, and this, I think I can speak for I hope I can speak for all the board, is that I know it's a big purchase, but we want to be proactive instead of reactive for something that's happened in other schools. And so this is a big step for doing that, because God forbid, I'd hate for something to happen and we didn't try to do our part. And so I think this is a very good proactive approach, and so I wanted to put that out there. So I know it's a big purchase, but I think it's a good thing.
And just remember, it's not one and done, that it's layers that help us do safety, and we're very thankful for our SROs that are in continual dialogue with us to help us know ways to improve and to constantly observe and stuff. So I appreciate you all.
All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is to approve the revised, rescinded, and new policies in section E through F, and Dr. Roof will go through these, and they were reviewed a month ago and put on the table for public input. Dr. Roof?
Absolutely. Thank you. Good evening, board. So here we'll just go through again just the policies that have been tweaked in some capacity, as Ms. Diller was saying. And so first we do have, first off we have EDC, transportation safety. It's required, but that note there was just that the last paragraph is not needed due to tech enhancements and should be handled administratively. Besides that, it will be retained as revised. Then we have one that was consider abolishing, and that's EDDA, special use of school buses, and is addressed by the law or state board rule and should just be handled administratively. Also, we had EDDB, walkers and riders. The policy is not required or needed, and again, this one would just be handled administratively. And then moving on, in EEE, the ones that we're retaining, we're retaining.
Excellent. Was there any public comment or input after these were tabled?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve the revised, rescinded, and new policies in sections E through F.
Okay, board, we have a recommendation to approve revised, rescinded, and new policies in sections E through F. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, sir. Is there any discussion? All in favor by a raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board. Next item on the agenda is to approve to table board policy DJED, bids and quotations. And I know, and I'll let Dr. Roof explain just a minute, but we have recently gone through this section of the policy and did revisions, but this is due to legislation being signed after we do that. So, Dr. Roof?
Absolutely. As Ms. Diller was saying, this policy, along with the next one, the reason we are catching these separately is because we are dealing with these out of sequence or out of order compared to our other policies due to different reasons. And as Ms. Diller was saying, this one, we already went through Section D. However, we need to come back now and revisit this one and retable it. And what's changing here is that last part there that says board approval is also required for any change order 50,000 or more, and then state bid regulations in regard to the bid process will be followed for any purchase of 250,000 or more. So that's that dollar amount changing by law, and we need to come back and capture that in this policy. And then moving down to the, Mrs. Collis, to the bottom, this also is captured underneath the school nutrition department. Again, that 100,000 or more threshold changing to 250,000.
And nutrition actually has a higher threshold by their regulations, but we've always had the practice to keep those consistent. So, good. All right. Mr. Chair, I make the recommendation to approve to table board policy DJED, bids and quotations, until the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve the table board policy DJED. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to approve to table board policy JBC for awarding units and transferring credits. And we haven't gotten here yet, but Dr. Roof will explain why we're doing it now.
This is one that could impact school handbooks. And so school handbooks are due to us on July 14th.
or 17th one.
And so with school handbooks being due, drop dead deadline July 14th, we needed to again approach this one out of order so that we are prepared, because obviously if we waited and tabled in July, and then if it were approved, it would get approved in August, and we would be too late to have it in the school handbooks possibly appropriately. So with that said, this is one where we are, by working with GSBA and getting advice here, we're just tightening up our process when it comes to how we deal with awarding units and transferring credit. So moving into a couple of the changes on the policy there. One being here that just capturing that the superintendent or designee, superintendent's office is responsible for having the processes in place for all those items, and one of those is ensuring that grades are placed on student transcripts. And GSBA recommended that we added that phrase there, with appropriate weights, to take care of that. And then the other component that we are changing, the first part there was kind of just a vocabulary error, if you will, discussing that the honor graduates would be governed by admin reg, but then also administrative guidelines in the student handbook, not regulation in the student handbook. And then finally, based on also some feedback we received from GSBA and some recommendation there, that last sentence, to be eligible to be selected as valedictorian, salutatorian, or to be in the top 10 honor grad students must be enrolled at Fannin County High School for a minimum of 2 full academic years, instead before it had 2 full semesters. So again, just tightening up some of those processes that were, and making sure that everybody is on the same playing field.
Excellent. Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to table board policy JBC4 until, for public comment until the next regularly scheduled meeting.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve to table board policy JBC. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Dr.
Board.
Ruth. Next item on the agenda is to approve the School Resource Officer Program Intergovernmental Services Agreement. And Mr. Danner, and we do have a change, official change on this one.
Yeah, the official change is, the school board used to fund 3 SROs. Now the school board, with this MOU, is we will be funding 4 SROs. So again, that is 1 commander, 1 SRO at each school, actually 2 at the high school, and then the commander floats, which is Darvin. You don't never know where Darvin's going to be, and but again, Darvin and I have worked together for ever since I've been in the system, and so again, this is a great thing, and I really. I don't really beg a lot, but again, I really hope y'all approve this this MOU with our Fannin County Sheriff's Office. And in saying so, we just had some training over the last 2 weeks. I want to publicly thank the Sheriff's Office. I want to publicly thank the Fannin County EMS. We had some trainings at one of our schools, and it is top notch. And so again, I want to publicly say that in front of everyone.
Thank you, Mr. And Mr. Chair, I have spoken with, the sheriff is still in agreement with this, and so is Mr. Hensley. So with that, I would like to make the recommendation. The annual agreement is like it has been for years, minus the addition of going from the 6 to the 7 SROs, with us doing compensation for 4. It is an annual agreement. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the recommendation for the intergovernmental service agreement.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve the School Resource Officer Program Intergovernmental Service Agreement. Do I have a motion? Excuse me.
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Ms. Nguyen, is to approve the FY 2026 amended budget timeline. And you all have approved the timeline before, and in that timeline was our budget meetings for public input like we had at 5 o'clock today. If you move the next board meeting, we need to amend that whole budget timeline as well. So Ms. Nguyen?
So yes, so we had our first public budget meeting. We had advertised it in the newspaper. So then when you come down to today is the 12th. We had the meeting. We'll approve the resolution. July 9th is the first change on this. So that's when the next meeting will be advertised. That it will be July 17th to the meeting that was changed. And then The spending resolution will be July 17th, and then we'll advertise the tentative budget July 23rd, and then approve that in August.
With that, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Board, we have a recommendation to approve the fiscal year 2026 amended budget timeline. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to approve the spending resolution for July 2025. And Ms. Nguyen, in your presentation, will you explain why we have to have a spending resolution?
If we do not adopt a budget by June 30th, we have to have a spending resolution in order for the superintendent to be authorized to pay salaries, to pay bills, to do anything, to spend any money of any kind. So the spending resolution says, whereas the Fannin County Board of Education, for good sufficient reason, has not adopted a budget from July 1, 25 through June 30th, 26, and it's best for the public that you authorize the superintendent to continue to expend funds and to continue operations. So then it's resolved that the Board of Education, the superintendent may expend funds from all funds for the month of July, not to exceed 1/12 of the final amended budget of the fiscal year FY25. And that is plus debt service and capital expenditures, but thankfully we don't have any debt service.
Excellent. So, and the reason that we don't have an approved budget by June 30th is it's hard to go to the board and ask them to approve a budget when we don't even know our revenue yet.
We
which is
really
what
wait on the
happens.
tax assessor's office.
And federal to get
Yes,
us
we don't have any of
yeah.
the federal numbers as well.
So with that said, I'd like to pay the bills and pay people their paychecks. So, Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve spending resolution for July 2025. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll second that. Any discussion? I want to say this, I've been on the board a long time. We keep doing the same thing. So we keep waiting on them, so it's not new. But,
We have better numbers.
yes. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to approve district financial report. Mr. Chair? Excuse me, Ms. Nguyen, unless you want to give the financial report, Mr. Chair.
So
It'll be quick.
this is our April 30th. As of April the 30th, we're at 83.33%. This is our general fund. You can see 90% of revenue budget collected, 66.88 of expenditures for general fund. Capital projects, and then our special revenues, and our school nutrition.
Thank you. Ms. Nguyen, you did a great job presenting. So, Mr. Chair, I make a recommendation to approve as presented.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation to approve the district financial report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is personnel. And if you all will get your personnel sheets ready. Everybody ready? All right. First thing on the personnel sheet is resignation. And if no one objects, I'd like to take the resignations collectively. Okay. And that is Hannah Carter, effective 5/29/2025, Renee Carter, effective 5/30/2025, and Trudy Smith, effective 6/5/2025. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. I'll second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. The next recommendations are pending completion of paperwork, background check, and training requirements. And I will take these collectively when appropriate if no one objects. Okay? I will take Sean Butler, professional staff, effective school year 2025, and Melody Queen, the same professional staff, school year 2025-2026. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a recommendation, board. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next one is Maria Correa, classified staff, effective 6/16/2025. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next four will be collective, all classified, all school year 2025-2026. That's Krista King, Justin Long, Madison Mitchell, and Laura Phillips. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Thank you. Next recommendations are for substitute employees pending completion of paperwork, background check, and training requirements. I'd like to take all three collectively. All right, they're all three substitute teachers, all effective school year 2025-2026, and that's Kathy Chastain, Nathan Dean, and Spencer Johnson Dockery. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. Board, we have a recommendation. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
Next recommendation is for a student from the student work program, pending completion of paperwork and all school program requirements. I'd like to recommend Kristen Nix for a student worker from 6/1/2025 through 5/31/2026. Mr. Chair, I make that recommendation.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor by raised hand? It is unanimous.
All right, that concludes the personnel sheet, Mr. Chair. Next item on the agenda is superintendent and board member comments. And I'll try to make this first comment, and I apologize if I leave anyone else out. Well, before I make the first one, I need to thank all of our students, the ones here tonight, and all this whole year, y'all. If you just look back through photos, and I have the yearbooks on my desk in my office, and it's just amazing to sit and look. I invite anybody that wants to come in, just sit and have a cup of coffee and look through them. And the families in our community and our faculty and staff, can't let you know how grateful I am. But there's also one with us tonight, and tonight is her last board meeting. And I won't do to her or say to her what I've been saying to her and doing to her all week in public. Miss Connie, would you like to say anything?
I would like to say it's been real that 31 years has passed by so quickly, but I have done my part and done well for our community, to serve them, and so that their children can grow up and do whatever their hearts desire. And I do look forward to passing the reins to Ms. Lauren, who will continue to serve as well.
Thank you. And Ms. Lauren, welcome aboard. It's your first board meeting officially as a director, so we're very blessed to have you. Just remember, the good Lord puts everybody in place where they're at, and He's got your back. So, with that, Mr. Chair.
All righty. Well, I'm gonna go first this time, and again, I just thank all the principals and all their work that they do. They show up here with their smile on, and I want to tell you, you're doing a great job. Y'all know I love you, and I'm not just saying that, you know that. Man, what an outstanding school. All these athletes come in here, and they're sporting that blonde hair, and I understand it. But man, I'm just really proud of them. It seems like in every area of Fannin County, these days just seem to be rising to the top, and I'm very excited. Miss Connie, I'm going to miss you, but I know you're leaving us in good hands right beside you. Thank you so much. And we had our representative for the GSBA here last month for District 9, and I also got to see her last weekend in Savannah while we were attending conference there, and she was bragging. But I have a letter here that just talks about that, the fact that we honor all these students that come down. And she said, I love driving up to your area, but she said, I love how you offer your children, present them to the community, even the band, she said, even the band. So we have a special system here. And is it perfect? No, but it's pretty darn close. And so thank y'all so much for letting me serve you guys. And Bobby?
First of all, like Ms. Quinn, great presentation on our budget. And I can't say enough about special recognition. To me, that's where it's at. Just like the lady said. We honor our students when they do good, and they're a great role model. That's 110% to me. Lauren, I know you do a great job. But I'm going to tell you right now, the lady sitting beside of you, you'll never replace her. You can do her job, and I'm sure you do it great. So thank you for stepping up and doing that. Connie, I've told you before, thank you, thank you, thank you. The principals, thank you for being here, and looking forward to many good things. Scott, thank you in your prayer that you mentioned, we are the best school in Georgia. Amen to that. Hallelujah. That's about all I got. Appreciate everybody being here and those that are listening on the cube. And I'm just enjoying being on the board. I guess it's your turn, Mr. Board.
My turn. I want to congratulate you all on a fantastic school year. We enjoyed probably the nicest weather for graduation that I have experienced, and I think that's the reward for the job that all of you teachers and staff did. So congratulate you all for that. It was an honor to be a part of that, and like these gentlemen, it's an honor to serve on this board and be a part of Fannin County. The middle school team, I had the privilege to travel with the middle school team. I should have spoke up when they were here. I didn't realize they would leave so soon. What a great group of young men and women, and they represent our school system so well. Very respectful in their actions and everything they did. They had a lot of fun. They were busy, very busy, but it's great to see that middle school team come together, and I have no clue how that's going to affect our high school moving forward, but I see good things happening. So congratulations to the middle school team, the soccer team. Love the hairdos, love the school spirit. They tried to talk some of my kids into doing that, and they weren't successful, but I like to see I think we're making great progress on the facilities that we're building, and I think that's going to add a lot of value to our community. So thank you for all the updates on that, Darren. And I want to say, regarding the school safety measures, these are things that we don't take lightly. They're well thought out after consultation with our local law enforcement and our school staff. I believe, as well as the others do, that it's a great step towards adding another blanket of protection for not only our students but staff and our public. I think it's a great move, and I appreciate the board for the vote on that. And last, I want to thank our community for their support of SPLOST. If anybody was paying attention, they heard that our school has zero debt. We have zero debt burden, and we are generating roughly, I don't have the numbers, Ms. Wynn, $10.5 million a year. This coming in from, and most of that, I think the rule of thumb's around 61% are outside dollars. Those are folks outside our community paying that tax. So thank you all in here for the support of that, and thanks to our community for the support. With that, I'll turn it over to Robert.
Not much left to say after that. I want to start by saying thank you to our community as well. That that SPOS is so important. It saves us, I think you said 3 meals that we would be paying as taxpayers in this community. It provides a lot of opportunity for our young people as well as everybody else, because the SPOS that we collect for the school, it helps the school system, but the county also gets to collect and provides for everybody that lives in this community. So I'm a big fan of that. I support it. I hope everybody will keep supporting that, because it helps us a lot. So thank you for that to our community. I don't know who I'm gonna forget here, but thanks for a good school year. Thanks to all of our principals, everybody that worked so hard. I didn't realize just how much work went into all this until I got into this spot. So I really appreciate you guys. I say that, I really mean that. You guys do a lot, and I don't have the patience to do it and wouldn't want to do it, but you guys do it and you love it, and I'm so thankful for it. I'd rather get on big equipment and work and do all that, and that's my place. But thank you guys for everything that you do. It's very well noticed, I guess you could say, just how much you guys love it and how much you pour into it. So thank you, and also for you, Connie. You're awesome, and I can remember when I was just a little kid, you was doing this.
Way back when.
So I'm not calling you old, but I thank you for keeping me feeling young.
She's got stories.
Congratulations. And congratulations, Lauren. And then to all of our athletes, thank you to Darvin and Darren, real quick, for all the time and effort y'all put in, pulling all the facts and information together to make what we just voted on here tonight happen. You don't really want to do anything like that till you know everything, and they spent a lot of time and effort getting that done and going places and seeing different systems and stuff like that. So thank y'all. And I'll turn it over to
me. I'll start with the middle school program. I'm like Lucas. I'm just so fired up. I spent my whole life running track. Track actually paid for my college degree. So I understand the importance and how big it is, how many events there are. But as soon as I found out y'all are having a middle school program and that Coach Saxon and Coach Thigpen were running it, wasn't shocking. Y'all had 80 kids. I know both of them fairly well. They're not just good teachers, they're phenomenal human beings. And I co-taught with Chris Thigpen for 4 or 5 years, and I say it all the time. He's probably one of the best PE teachers I've ever met in my whole life, and he pours into kids so different than anybody else I've been around. He's such a phenomenal influence, and Jenna Saxon is one of the most likable, sweetest human beings I've ever been around, so I know they did a great job. And then congratulations to the boys soccer team. And one thing I noticed about them is every time I was at the high school for any reason on the weekends, they're there. They were there, without a coach, just putting in that extra work. And for the most part, teams who have a lot of success, it's not just in your practices with your coaches. You're doing a lot of extra things that most people don't see. Successes don't fall in your lap. So just congratulations to all of them. And then just Lauren, formally congratulations to you. I know you're going to do a great job. And then I'm just sad about Connie leaving. I say this a lot. I'll say it publicly. I just have as much respect for Connie Huff as I have any employee I've ever worked with or worked for. I tease her a lot. I've known her for a long time, but in general, working for her was so amazing because it was kind of I wouldn't say a rough patch in my own personal life, and she always, and I'm not, if y'all know me, I'm not really a whiner or a crier, but I could go into her office and talk to her about personal things, and she always listened to me. She probably is the best listener I've ever been around. Definitely the hardest worker and the most gritty human being I've ever worked with. You never hear that woman complain, and most people have no idea what she's been through and how amazing of a human she actually is. So I really appreciate you, Connie, I really do. And then just thank you to all of our faculty, all of our staff, for everything that y'all do. Hopefully y'all are getting in a little bit of rest break, a little relaxation over the summer. and Darvin and all the SROs, how much effort y'all did put into the weapon detection systems. It wasn't just a quick, like y'all said, like a quick decision. There was a lot of thought, a lot of effort on your part, and going and checking those out at other places and elsewhere. So I appreciate that. And I'm glad you brought up graduation. I can't believe I almost let this pass up. Golly, I was really disappointed in myself. I just appreciate how y'all, most everybody in this room was at graduation. And, you know, I was nervous about graduation for Brady in general. And then I knew they were going to let Brady push himself at graduation. We knew that was coming. But I didn't really know any details about it. I've told Dr. Ramsey this already. I appreciate you in so many. It's been very good for Brady in general. You've put in so much effort with him. And just to back up just 1 second, you fought for him to run that state championship cross-country race. Lucas, people don't realize how big of a deal that is. You know, I've kind of been talking about it a little bit lately because we're with the running stuff that's coming up. And I said, you know, Brady's probably, I would imagine, the only kid who did not qualify for a state championship race who ran and won. That's a major deal. That don't just happen either. That took you guys believing in him and what he wanted to do, and not just saying, oh, that's never happened before, we're not going to do that. But y'all didn't do that. Y'all both fought for it. And, you know, I up front was like, realized that probably wasn't going to happen, but you didn't let it go. You just kept on and on. I was like, I can't believe it. And Mr. King, I just appreciate that. It's a really big deal for him, more than y'all probably realize for him. He's very quiet and public and not so much in private. So I get to hear what he really thinks about things, sometimes not in a good way. But graduation was so big. Like, what made that actually happen is that you gave him the time he needed. If you would have, and I've said this to you already, but public, if you would have kept calling names, he would have never had, he needed several minutes to get across that field. And that was his goal. He had told me that several times. I had no idea that the community would come together like they did for him. And I've told you this, but I'll tell everybody as soon as we got in the car. And Brady is, I mean, he's hilarious. But he said, I will never forget this for the rest of my life. And that's a big statement coming from him, because he is quiet when it comes to stuff like that. So I just really appreciate everybody here and the whole entire county, because it was something we'll never forget. So I appreciate it.
He's not the only one over
Yeah, it was amazing.
Well, what they say in the Baptist church, all hearts and minds clear. If we're all good to go, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor? We are adjourned. It is unanimous.
Woo-hoo!